How's it going, Idol Monglers? Today I have a very special video for you. I created, okay, so a viewer recommended me the Idol Mongler like intro, but I low-key created, I have a very special video for you or whatever. I low-key created that, okay? Give some respect to me. Doesn't matter though. What is important today is the topic of today's video. If you like this manga, I'd recommend you this. Now, I know last video was also a recommendation video, and I know I literally gave 100 recommendations. In the turn, I would never have to make another recommendation video again. But I'm doing another one, because this will probably be my final one. Because there was one recommendation in there that was a manga that is like One Piece. I was like, that's low-key a good idea to do for a video. So I grabbed probably the 10 most popular manga I have in my collection, probably. There's some manga in here that aren't in here, like Vagabond, Vinland Saga, and Goodnight Poon Poon aren't in here just because they're not as popular as animes or they just don't have an anime. I didn't put Blue Lock or Oshi no Ko in here just because they're just different genre. You don't see them just as much as like painted to the forefront as like some of these other manga. And some manga just included in here because their animes are coming out pretty soon or they've already come out pretty recently and they're getting a lot of buzz because of that. Like Dandadan's in here. I'm just going to spoil it. Dandadan's in here. We'll do that one second. But I do want to start off with the first one that I talked about. Oh, I didn't even include Naruto and Bleach. That's fine. But Naruto and Bleach have already finished. They're not really being talked about that much anymore, so. Well, Bleach is because the anime's not done, but they're not really being talked about anymore, so I'm not going to worry about it. But here is the first manga, which is One Piece. Now, One Piece you need like a specific taste for. I already mentioned this in my last video, but One Piece is hard to find because you need incredible world building. You need great characters. You need a goofy, fun tone. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is hard to come by. And I think I found, like, a worse version of One Piece. But I do still think it's very similar in tone, very similar in idea. And it's just overall really fun with some great character moments. And that one is Welcome to Demon School Aruma-kun. Now, do I think these manga are similar? Very much. Not really. Like, in premise, they're not similar at all. But I do think Welcome to Demon School Aruma-kun is very similar in terms of, like, tone and idea of One Piece. In the sense of, like what the author was going for. I think they're pretty similar. And also, in the future, this manga does start off, like, somewhat slice of lifey. But in the future, it does get a lot more, like, how do I say, like, there's a lot more direction in this manga. And I really got to keep reading it because it was low-key really good. And I just stopped reading for some reason. So, yeah, I honestly, if you like One Piece, I would give you Welcome to Demon School Aruma-kun. Long-ass title. I really don't like long-ass titles, but I've heard this is pretty good. And I picked it up and I read like 4 volumes of it. And I fucking loved it. All right. Next, let's go. You know, I already talked about it. I already said it's going to be in the video. So let's go with this next one. I have Dandadan. Now with Dandadan, it's kind of tricky because a lot of people like Dandadan for different reasons. There's some people who like it for its very perverted and crass humor, which is kind of hard to find. There's a lot of people, but I think like the main reason why people love Dandadan is its characters, its writing, its like its idea, its plot, and the romantic side plot is very, very good. As well as like the creatures, the fights, everything, like it's super creepy and scary and great. So I give you something similar, but maybe not exact. I feel like you would enjoy this as well if you like Dandadan. You would like After God. Now, is After God perverted at all? Not really. After God is not perverted at all. But I will say it does have that element of creepy, scary, spooky monsters and ghouls and ghosts. And it just has a great premise with some great characters. Like, the characters have some pretty decent chemistry with each other. And in volume 1, we just got introduced to, like, an entire organization of fucking god slayers or whatever. And it, like, they have pretty good introductions. And only volume 1's out, so you can keep track. I think volume 2 is coming out this month. So you can, you know, keep track of it and, you know, stay with it while it's coming out while you're waiting for Dandadan to come out. So, yeah. And I'm pretty sure Dandadan just went on like a 3-month hiatus or something like that. It went on like a month hiatus, I think. It went on a hiatus, I know that. But yeah, if you like Dandadan, I would give you After God. Next, you know what? Let's go with this one. This one I think is a bit of an underrated pick, at least of like the ones I picked out of the most popular. But I think one of the most popular manga I own is definitely Frieren. Frieren is getting like like so much on the rise lately just because of how good the anime was, like how good the adaptation was, and the manga is getting a lot more attention. And if you do like Frieren, I think it's because one, the incredible writing, the pacing is great, it's slow, it's methodical with some great themes, and obviously the fantasy world is just built well, it's great, and the comedy is pretty dry as well. So I think that's why you would like Frieren. And if I had to give you a manga to, I don't know, be somewhat similar, it's kind of hard to pick out some of these manga when some of these are so different, but also some of these are so similar. But I would have to give you Helk. Actually, an anime came out for this, and I didn't hear a single person talking about it, but I would give you Helk. I might do a part 2 of this, honestly. I would love to do a part 2. Now, Helk is basically about this human who wants to kill all humans. He has a great backstory. He has a great relationship with these two. The characters are incredible. The world is great. The pacing is, like, in my opinion, like, kind of perfect, kind of. And the art is just really goofy. Like, it's super not similar to Frieren, but I thought I just had to recommend it because of how underrated it is. Like, let me show you some of this art. Wait, hold on. Let me put this volume down. Like, look at some of this art, bro. This is goofy as shit, bro. I mean, the main character isn't on this volume, but he's goofy as shit. Like, his design is really goofy. So I think if you like Frieren, you'll probably like Helk as well. Alright. Next, after that, let's go with an anime that's coming out now. And I see a lot of flack. And honestly, I should have said this in my hot takes video, but I sadly didn't. But I'm going to just give it now. With Sakamoto Days, I knew before Sakamoto Days even come out, that anime would flop. I knew this anime would be shit. I'm going to tell you why. Because Sakamoto Days has some of the greatest fights in manga history. Like, maybe not manga history, manga I've read. Like, Sakamoto Days fights are so fantastic. They're so fluid. They're so smooth. The stakes are incredible. Like, everything about their fights are, like, damn near perfect. But the writing is so shit. Like, the way characters talk in this manga is so shit. The way characters act is so shit. It's like, it's like I'm watching a 4-year-old play house. Like, I can't do it. The writing is so bad. But the fights are so good, you just want to keep reading. Because there's fights every fucking chapter. So, obviously, that's Sakamoto's biggest one is his fights. But when I saw that trailer, I knew the animation looked great. Don't get me wrong. The animation looked great. But the animation needed to be, like, superb. Like, I'm talking, like, I don't even, like, the animation needs to be, like, solo leveling level to, like, live up to its manga and be the reason why people actually like the manga, and it did not. Keep in mind, the animation is great. It just isn't at that level that it could have been. Or, like, that it should have been for this to, like, be eye-catching as it was. Like, Dandadan had a great story, great characters, great everything. Even if, like, the animation was toned down, I think people would still like it. Even if, like, the animation wasn't as good. Sakamoto Days is not one of those. Because the writing is pure shit. Now, if I have to give something that writing is pure shit, but the fights are incredible, I actually think this one's kind of better written, kind of. It's more goofy and it kind of knows what it is. And Sakamoto Days does not. I would give Rooster Fighter. If you like Sakamoto Days, you would like Rooster Fighter. Honestly, if you like One Punch Man, if you like any of those kind of manga where the main character is super overpowered and doesn't take anything seriously and the focus is more around the story around him, I would give Rooster Fighter. The main character isn't overpowered. He goes through a lot of hardships, but he's just such a goofy-ass character. He feels like a Saitama, a Taro Sakamoto. He feels like one of those characters. So I would give Rooster Fighter. Basically just this rooster fighting titans to save his sister. Like, that's like what we're at. And I think if you like Sakamoto Days, you would love this. Honestly, you would love it. Okay. Next. You know what? I have an underrated one for JJK. So, Jujutsu Kaisen. Just ended, I don't know, like what, 5-6 months ago? Wasn't that long. People did not like the ending. So, if you're a little bit heartbroken, I'll give you this manga. Now, JJK. What does JJK do well? One, does its fights well. Its tone is incredible. The characters are fun. The art is really, really good. Like, the art is like very scratchy and just very muddled, and it works well with the tone of the manga. So if I would have to give you a manga, that one subscriber is about to go crazy. That one viewer, he knows what I'm talking about. It's D Gray Man. If you like JJK, you would love D Gray Man because it's kind of the same thing. The main character, both are somewhat similar, though I would say the main character is better in this, in my opinion, even though they do different things. Like, they're meant for two different purposes. I like this main character more. The worlds are basically the same. They're basically fighting against these like evil creatures. There's basically domain expansions in this. Like, I think I found like a perfect comparison. Well, D Gray Man might be like super out of stock. The 3-in-1s kind of aren't, and it's really good. So you can just read it online. I think it's on the Shonen Jump app, maybe. Yeah, D Gray Man is one of those great ones. And the backstories are incredible too. And a lot of characters die, kind of. So, yeah, you'll love both. If you like JK, you will love D Gray Man. Alright, after that, let's go with, you know what? Let's go with Demon Slayer. Alright, Volume 1 Demon Slayer. Now, if you like Demon Slayer, you probably love its charming characters. You probably like the world. Let's see. You probably really like the villains. And you just love a well-paced story with a lot of emotion. What I have for you is probably one of the most underrated manga I have here. The second most underrated manga I have here. It is the manga I want people to read the most. It is Versus. It's by the same author as One. I literally said this is one of the greatest first volumes I've read. I read the second volume, it's even better. How did that fucking happen? This manga is so... I want to talk about this manga so bad. I genuinely do. I might make a review on it. I've never wanted to talk about a manga more than to actually, like, make a review on it with no incentive whatsoever. Like, that is insane. I don't really like making reviews because there's only so much I can talk about for one manga for 10 minutes or whatever, but this is one of them. Well, I might actually do it because it is so goddamn good. The characters are incredible. Like, the plot is fantastic. The art, oh my god, the art is so, oh my god. Turn to any fucking page and the art looks incredible. Look at this shit. Oh my goodness, look at that art. Any new page. I didn't even look at the page, bro. Any page, bro. Oh my goodness, bro. Look at that art, bro. This could also honestly go for One Piece, too. You know what? If you like any of these series, if you like one series that I'm mentioning out of any of the fucking 20 manga or 19 manga, read this shit. Because it probably is just as good, if not better. It is, oh my god, it is, except for Full Night, which we'll get to later. This is so goddamn good. Like genuinely so good. And I think it's pretty similar to Demon Slayer. It has very similar characters. It gets you attached to a lot of characters very quick without having to do a lot of work. They also both kill off a lot of characters, which is pretty cool. I guess spoilers for Demon Slayer, but I mean, you don't know what characters they kill off, but they do kill. Spoiler alert, Infinity Castle, they kill off a lot of characters. I'm just saying. Get ready for that. Like, half the cast is gone after the first movie, half the cast is gone. Yeah, what was I saying? Versus, that's what I was saying. Yeah. Versus, incredible manga, incredible read. It's one of the best manga of all time. And it's by the same author as One Punch Man and Mob Psycho. And this is my favorite work by that author. Like, it's so not even close. It is so not even close. It's fun. I didn't even talk about Demon Slayer. I don't even like Demon Slayer that much. I'm going to be honest. All right. Next, I didn't even just go with this one because I don't have that much to say. I just talked about Versus, but it's Chainsaw Man. I think Chainsaw Man is pretty self-explanatory. You probably like some great characters, incredible world, grungy, screechy art, and just a really unique writing style. As long as you probably like some... you probably have a questionable taste in women. I'm going to give you Gachi Akuda. Now, I know Gachi Akuda has been talked to death, and I know like a visual of the anime just came out, like a photo of it, and it looks incredible. I know everyone's excited about it, and it probably will be like the next big thing, but it's besides Kagurabachi, which we'll get to later. But I just had to put this one on the list. Like, if you're not reading Gachi Akuda, it's just very good. Like, it's just overall really solid. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. The art is incredible. The story is pretty good. The world is fantastic. Like, there's like nothing inherently wrong with it where I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I don't rate it. You know. And if you like Chainsaw Man, I think you'll like this one a lot too. All right. Next, we have. I'm gonna do it now because I already talked about it. With Kagurabachi. Now, I read the first volume of Kagurabachi. If you like Kagurabachi, let's see, you probably like swords, you probably, you know, like an endearing cast, you probably like some really, really good directed fight scenes, you probably like a good revenge story well, and you want, I know, an edgy main character that is super sick and doesn't take no shit. And I think it is very different and it only has 3 volumes, but I do think you should go with Yomotsuhegi. Yomotsuhegi is about a police officer whose wife and kid die, like gets murdered, and then goes on a revenge scheme to kill both of its murderers. There's 2 murderers, and goes on a revenge scheme to kill his murderer, and then his murderer eats like a fruit of life, so he's living forever. But he also eats a fruit that kills people with fruits of life. But he's also like slowly dying in the process. So this one is very, like the first volume was very good. I had a lot of fun with it. The art is incredible. It's way better than Kagurabachi. Again, this is one of those. I could just show you one panel. You know what? I'm going to flip to a random panel. Boom, this panel. Didn't even look at it. Well, now I'm looking at it, but look at that art, bro. Oh my goodness. Boom. Random ass page of art. It looks like innocent, bro. It looks like Shinichi Sakamoto's art. Wait. Okay, no, it's not Shinichi Sakamoto. But it looks very similar to that art. And it's fucking incredible. At least the art. Story-wise, plot-wise, it could be better, but like, it is really good in my opinion. And Kagurabachi, they both scratch the same itch. So, you know what? I think I go with those 2. Alright. We got 2 left. Alright, let's go with Berserk. Let's do Berserk. Let's get Berserk out of the way. We have Berserk. If you like Berserk, you probably have a very refined taste in manga. I'm joking. You probably have shit taste. No, I'm joking. Let's see. If you like Berserk, you probably like a very mature, grungy world. You like mature characters. You probably like a good, like very, very high stakes. You probably like some deep emotional moments. Honestly, this one, it just makes sense. Like, they're not similar whatsoever. Like, on paper, these 2 manga are not similar whatsoever, but they just feel right next to each other. And that manga is Ajin. It is like, I don't know. They just feel like, they feel like the same manga, kind of. Honestly, I don't really have a good explanation for this. If you want like a real one, you can go with Claymore. Claymore is also really good, and it's very similar to Berserk. People have even called it like the female Berserk. But if you like Berserk, I think you'll really like Ajin. It's not similar in world. It's not similar in characters, but there's just a tone. The tone is very similar in both of these, and I think you'll like both of them. Or I think you'll like Ajin if you like Berserk, which probably most of you do. All right, final one. The big one. I think the one you'll like the most. AOT. Probably, besides One Piece, and maybe Berserk, the most popular manga on here. Like, yeah, there's Chainsaw Man. Yeah, there's this. Yeah, there's that. But, the cultural relevance of this manga is outmatched, except for One Piece, is outmatched. Like, it is insane how much this anime and this manga got people into, like, the hobby. It is, like, it's, like, unimaginable how many. It's, like, this and also, like, One Punch Man, surprisingly. And I know a lot of you like AOT. And if you like AOT, you probably like a very compelling, very, very strict story. Something that has a lot of stakes to it. Some great characters. Time limit on the world. And I think you would also really like a very like quick and fast and concise pacing. If you like AOT. And the manga I'm here to give you is probably my favorite first volume of all time. It is Full Night. This first volume and this entire series, I've read 3 volumes, blew me away. It is the pinnacle of manga. Like this is probably going to be one of my favorite manga of all time. Like, I kid you not, I love Blue Lock. I love Slam Dunk. I love Real. I love Blue Period. I love Alice in Borderland. I love The Horizon. I love Your Lie in April. I love One Piece. I love The Boxer. And I love Haikyuu. This might beat a couple of them. Like, Versus could do it. I don't see it getting that high, though. I don't see it getting that high. It could do it. Don't get me wrong. It could do it. But I don't see it getting that high. Full Night, it's possible. It is so possible. And I hold my top 10 to a very high standard. I just read Blue Period, volumes 14 and 15, and I cried 3 times. That's one of the lower manga on my top 10. If this can beat that, the sky's the limit, brother. The sky's the limit. Okay, that's all I have for you today, honestly. If you made it to the end of the video, drop a book emoji. There's got to be a book emoji. There's got to be. Drop a book emoji in the comment section below. Also, comment down below if I just do a part 2 to this. I would love to do a part 2, grabbing 10 other manga, or I guess 20 other manga, and saying what you would like, and depending on what you've already liked. I actually really like this manga idea. It was very quick for me to record, only 20 minutes. It'll probably be quick for me to do a thumbnail of. I'm starting to actually make cool thumbnails, kind of, somewhat. So, we'll see. Thank y'all for watching. Goodbye.